all things I can do. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe Jas,
Want
would
me to-
Okay. Yeah.
introduce us.
So I thought that at this stage, you know, in this project that we're all doing together, that it would be worthwhile and important for all of us to kind of just zoom out from going into various topics, discussing them, and talk about this project itself and our process and how we feel about it, what we've learned from it, our any sort of questions that we have for each other as participants in this work, uh, and to just share things, share reflections, opinions about it, all that. And I think some of that is about retrospecting, and I think some of that also pertains to where we go from here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that really, whatever the best move is going forward, it's obviously going to be informed by a shared understanding about the journey that we've had so far, and what really would feel exciting and inspiring to do next.
Mm-hmm. Along with the journey that we've had so far, talking about that, not only in the project, so-called, the video stuff, but also since we've known each other, as you observed yesterday. It's coming up on a year this summer, or at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
And we thought it would be fun and worthwhile to talk about, while recording, some of the memories that we have shared.
Okay.
And maybe how we all came to know each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a little bit of background. So
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be first, but I think it would be nice to touch on today.
I think so too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something about this.
Mhm.
The friendships that started sometime in August of last year,
2020.
2020, have actually blossomed so well to the point where not only is there friendship and gift giving and lots of humor and lots of good times, but we've also managed to do something really important with the work that we're doing with these videos,
Right.
and what this could lead to. And it's been terribly enriching for me. It's been wonderfully.
Terrifically.
Well, yeah, terrifically enriching for me to have this opportunity, and to know that a lot of the things that I have learned, my own personal wisdom, may have some value for others. And that's particularly something that I'm very grateful to both of you for, to giving me a platform and a way to relate to many, many people that I probably wouldn't have the opportunity to do as a solo individual. So this is really pregnant with possibilities. And I still, in the back of my mind, in addition to videos, I still see a book with photos accompanying it, and that gets me very excited. I also have visions of us working in some kind of a room where the three of us are actually, I don't know, looking at the videos and deciding, hey, this is not necessary.
This is garbage. What was that bullshit comment you made there?
Yeah.
Cut it out.
Yeah, throw that out. And what about this gem right here? Let's make this the key feature.
Right.
So I'd like us to do that kind of a partnership where we can actually work together.
We've got to find a space to do
Well,
that.
we
I
thought,
agree so much.
we thought that the library would work. It turns out that from what we've discovered from Next Village is that they're in a terrible shape because of COVID. They've lost 140 staff for the library system in the city of San Francisco.
Wow.
So they're really running around with their heads chopped off, trying to function and open up each library and open all the facilities.
But really with crippled in terms of the
exactly.
the manpower.
I remember they were, at the beginning of the pandemic, they were turning to the librarians to help with contact tracing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know where that is, but the idea of being able to access a room seemed to Donna or Jackie to be rather difficult, given the mess they're in. So maybe we can think about other venues. there has to be some place where we can work, say midweek.
Let's talk about that, the logistics of it another time.
Yeah, the
Okay.
logistics
But
of
I very
that.
much agree
Yeah,
with
I mean,
the,
but the sentiment. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple other
Yeah.
comments
Certainly,
I'd like to make. Let's see. I am excited about discussing individual aspects. Maybe.
Actually, let's wait for the dog because it will be obscuring your.
Oh, is
your
that?
voice considerably.
We'll stop.
What a cutie pie.
Yeah. I'm just.
Ta-da. Well, I like that you mentioned the part about, well, two things about doing a book, because that's something that I've thought about and that I've also discussed.
Oh, good.
And it's something that I feel very strongly about. That there is so much collaborative, creative potential between the three of us that it's really almost incalculable the volume of worthwhile things that we could take on. And I think the biggest obstacle that we're going to have would be to eliminate really exciting options in the name of finishing a specific number of things that we set out to do, and to actually narrow it to something that will actually be done once and for all, finished.
Okay.
Right? Because I think that is probably the main trapping of any creative person, is all of this, like this sort of,
The totality of possibility
right.
around you.
Yeah, and this big
Dogs
like
rolling in the
airplane
grass.
hangar filled with half-finished, half-baked stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think we deserve to look back on a body of work, right? And that's going to require a lot of. So that's something that I'm really excited about, really getting serious about. And when you were talking about this image of all of us sitting around working and really being hands-on and engaged with the stuff, that excites me tremendously. That's really where I feel the next phase of all this is that's where it's located.
Maybe
you know?
the next month we could dedicate to work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to continue to work together, but to shift.
And on the same kind of weekly meeting schedule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that feels really right.
Yeah. And we could still record whether audio or video fits here and
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Whatever we decide to be best or to try.
To show the process, right?
But yeah, of a different nature.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
showing the process is really interesting, and it's something that matters to me a lot.
Yeah.
And I think it's undervalued and like not
Tremendously
really
undervalued. Yeah.
shown most of the time.
Sure.
Yeah, people think that they're supposed to withhold that from the viewer intentionally, like just to give them the finished product. But for the creative people, it's
so interesting.
unbelievably informative, and it is.
And inspiring and like instructive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Because that's how you learn, by doing it. When you watch
Yeah.
it being done, it's like you have this window into what it means to actually do this stuff. And a lot of people don't. And I think even for the consumer, I think it's actually. I mean, I say consumer, but I mean unless a non-technician who's just viewing it, right? I think there's a lot of value in seeing how these things are actually, what it's actually like to do creative work. I think people are very mystified by it.
We are lucky in this regard because we get along well. We have a friendship underlying
Right.
the creative work that we're doing, and we don't have any problems speaking up and saying what we think
Yeah.
or what we feel is appropriate.
Yeah.
So I am absolutely mystified by the whole process, and we've been doing this for 3 months.
Yeah.
Was
A little more than that.
March?
16 weeks
16 weeks
consecutively.
So maybe we started as early as late February.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work here.
Yeah.
You're mystified by the whole process.
Yeah. In other words, it is so rich for me not only to have a connection with you guys, but to take it further, in a working situation, and to have this collaborative effort, which I don't often have.
Yeah.
And,
You mentioned you like to work alone.
yeah, well, I mean, when I do the creative work, but then I'm always stumped at the next level of putting things into reality, whether it's a book or, getting a painting to a gallery.
Yeah.
Taking that creative effort and working with the two of you is going to mean a more richer experience and, I think, a better chance of bigger success.
Yeah.
That's right, and we've thought about and discussed exactly what you're saying as well,
Okay.
and I think that's really the exciting thing about it is the way that all of this work and the time and the energy it demands to be delivered to the world in the sense of, I don't mean like that the world needs what we're doing in that sort of self-aggrandizing way, but I mean it's there's just too much of it for it not to sort of what's the word I'm looking for, to kind of marshal the seriousness from us to do something with it and to not shortchange it.
Well, and we've talked, Jas and I have talked about how much this has meant to us, and how interesting and enriching it is. And I think that we hope that you felt the same way, but of course it's nice to hear that, and interesting that it's something that you feel you're learning through as well.
Sure,
So
sure.
I'm really glad to hear that.
I lack, I lack the technical skills that both of you have. And because of my orientation and background, that opportunity never really was part of the program. So I'm not in any way against it. I just feel like I need help.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I feel comfortable that you guys can take care of that, leaving me the opportunity to just do what I do.
Right.
I also would, I agree overall with what you just said. I would like to challenge you to try and learn with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm not opposed.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed. I do have now that Galaxy Samsung, and we did find out what to do with it.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
Great.
I could be bringing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have a Echo Alexis.
I'll keep that away from me.
Yeah, you don't like it? Okay. Well, I don't know if I'll like it or not, but it is a new device. Some opportunity occurred for me to receive these two items.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
really cool.
Thank you for bringing those to
It's
us.
work I did with this Italian organization.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to bring this. And Leslie is pretty well versed.
Okay.
She's learned a great deal. She can back up and help us. But I think that the three of us together, I think we just need the time and place to get down to brass tacks.
I think that's the thing.
The place.
A facility, precisely.
Yeah,
That's really the missing ingredient
And
here.
between the three of us, we should be able to know someone who might be willing to share a space for as little as an hour or two.
Can we pause for a second?
Sure.
I'd like us to not get into the logistics of how we'll find.
Oh, okay.
I know
Yeah.
it's of interest.
Yeah.
And also, I'm going to pause it just for 1 second.
Sure, yeah. No, you're right.
And also, it's good to make sure it's still recording. I have something to say about the book.
Yeah.
Thing that, so, I think when we say book, just the last few minutes we've been reading about this process we've been engaged in the last few months. But also we talked about making a picture book
Yes.
with
Right.
some funny texts
Yeah.
Funny
and
text.
ideas in it. So I love that idea. I love that even more than the other books. I think it's more within reach right now.
Okay.
And you have a better idea as to how to approach it and how to do it.
Yeah.
It's a great place to start.
Right.
And for example, we could take on something that came up in the video and then expound on that and play with it,
Or
I think doing something totally fresh.
totally fresh.
what about something about throwing it out there? San Francisco,
Oh yeah.
or this little bit of Aquatic Park. Even.
Sure.
I think a little illustrated almost for kids, or sort of ambiguously for kids, or for just fun adults
Yes.
would be about Aquatic Park would be. I would love to do that.
Walk on the beach.
Yeah.
Ah,
What does he find with his finding stick? That kind of thing.
okay.
Like pat the bunny.
Yeah, we could certainly do a lot with
Yeah.
finding sticks.
Yeah. Just like a fun sort of adventurous story
Okay.
about all of the special goings on.
Draw
over there.
little
Some of them
pictures of
made
shells.
up, some of them real.
Yeah.
And therefore we'd have a greater appeal if we look at the book as something that has an opportunity for all age groups to enjoy.
Right.
And some kind of local interest
A
or
local interest.
flair.
That's right.
Flavor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is such a storied kind of, it's almost endowed with a sense of myth. San Francisco.
Yeah, of
Did
course.
you know this little segment here, for example, one page, used to have people lying around, sunbathing,
This
naked.
was a sunbathing mecca.
So we
Right.
could do a then and now maybe of
Okay.
and
What you
illustrated, but with bits from what you remember and what
Sure.
Like the promenade on the
Sure.
pier with the ice cream stands and the refreshments out
Yeah,
there
okay.
on the pier that are
How it
no
used
longer.
to be. How
Right.
it used to be.
Actually, I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect because that's something that you are uniquely able to
Yes. Yes,
to do
yes.
with us. We
And
could
the
do the
collaboration,
now,
yeah.
but we have no window or memory into the then.
Yeah,
And
it's
that's a
more-
perfect collaborative. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Good.
so I think it has a greater credibility of like the then and now. Just it's not just somebody who remembers then and is comparing now to then, but it's people who are of a different generation
That's
of
right.
time
Yes, yes.
who get to engage with the back and forth.
And to attest to the way it really was
Yeah.
and how things have changed, and often not for the better.
Right.
But
In some
Yeah.
cases, yes, but I also would want to point out the charm that,
Yeah.
that we've lost, and the compassion of people.
Mm.
I think that could be and would be important to include and could be approached from like, this is why we need to be careful about certain things and pay attention,
Yeah.
because sometimes the things that we love can be kind of just slip away or
Sure.
become
Right.
sullied,
Or
whatever.
lost.
So
Yeah.
pick up your trash, little ones, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I mean,
And
something
just
like
and
that.
just dissipate over the long march of the years,
Sure.
without anyone really having at any one moment dropped it.
Uh-huh.
But it's just sort of like it's like
Yeah.
sand in the wind. That little by little, it's actually all gone, or that it's changed or something. Not all gone, definitely. But I think the appeal to how things used to be and the better, like how things were better in some ways, I think will actually be implied just by viewing the comparisons.
Right, right.
And I think it's
Yeah.
important to not be on the nose about it.
Yeah.
To not be
Yeah.
kind of didactic or
Right,
moralizing,
Definitely.
but to show it and to not tell it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to be disciplined about not telling it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
But to because that sense it'll be like an emergent property
Yeah.
of it.
And-
At no point do I say things aren't the way
Nobody
they used to
wants
be.
the
Right.
moral.
But you can see it
Yeah.
with your own eyes, and you'll feel it that way.
And the reader will
You know?
interpret it for themselves.
That's right, and
Yeah.
it'll be undeniable because it'll be an experience. It won't be someone saying it's not a finger wagging about the kids today and their music. It'll
Right.
actually be an experience of seeing that people are not hanging out here and freely just taking in the sun in the same way. They're not luxuriating and selling.
I mean, I'm luxuriating. I don't know about you two.
Well, I mean, we are though. This is exactly why we're the sort of the torch bearers of that sentiment, right? Because I think there's a degree of like not taking this place for granted and not just seeing it as a
Right.
place to come and have your tech job and enjoy as an ancillary feature these nice elements of the city, right?
And also, don't sit around and glum about how all is lost.
Right.
And it used to be better back when you were a kid, and now the young kids have fucked it up, which may or may not be the case.
In some
But
cases,
just,
I'm sure it's true, but you're
be
missing all the magic
and
right in
enjoy
front of your
it,
face.
And yeah. Also,
Okay.
an audiobook.
Yeah.
And then we can hear the state of musicians today.
Oh wow.
And it's,
Okay.
as like a corollary to the picture
Yeah,
book,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like an audio version as well.
And,
Yeah.
and
We
that's
could have the three of us talking.
that's something that
Narrating.
could be done by us.
Oh, and
Absolutely.
it wouldn't. That's what I would expect and want.
Okay.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just audio recording.
Yeah.
I need to play that one for you from when we were sitting over there talking about the ocean.
Okay.
It's really beautiful.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't think I have that.
No, I forgot to send it to you, but
Oh,
you'll love
okay.
it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we ever need to go
this
find.
was quite some time ago.
Yeah,
wasn't
I'll play it for both of you after
Oh.
this.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. Well, what an idea.
Well, yeah, we're on the same page, and the more that we work together, the more ideas we generate.
And I think the more real it feels to do it.
Yeah.
But like, 'cause now these ideas, they feel like things that we could begin working on. They don't feel like pie in the sky. Maybe someday we'll get around to it. It feels
Right.
immediate, and yeah.
And hopefully we'll have this as a backup to remember all of our thoughts.
Yeah.
Sure.
Today.
Absolutely.
Let's
Certainly.
Make sure it's gone.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
Yeah, yeah.
It's
how's,
going.
How's the battery?
Beach me.
battery's
I hope it's okay.
well, we should be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was at like 88 when we started, so that's plenty.
And you have some time left?
I do.
Before?
I don't have to leave till 5:30,
Oh, beautiful.
so we're great.
Oh,
So something that, yeah. Well, what was it? So something that you said earlier that I wanted to expand on a little bit, Alex, is this idea that what's been so rewarding about the friendships and then discovering the ability to, discovering the desire and the ability to work together creatively has been just, it's totally changed my life. There's no other way to say it.
mine too.
Yeah, and there's no better way to say it. Yeah, because it's been so rare to have. It's hard to get people who are artistic and creative and highly individualistic and know how they like to do things and how they don't like to do things. To be able to sit and collaborate on something without some kind of clashing or fundamental disagreement or butting of heads or people having other kinds kinds of designs, about it coming in, and the way that I really feel that we've all been so totally above board and transparent and really egalitarian about how we've done this, where everybody is equally a part of, everybody has a voice at the table, and a seat at the table, and we're really creating it mutually. That's what it feels like.
It feels like you're in total agreement.
Yeah, and
The naturalness of it.
because it began with, Elizabeth and I wanted to do some creative podcast together, and when I was working at art gallery, I was really inspired because it was all this local Bay Area artists' work in this big space, and I was really inspired to take the ethos of that place outside of its walls, and to go and track down all these people that really represent the creative spirit of San Francisco in some way. And not just artists, but people who, let's say someone who's been the bartender at the saloon for 30 years or whatever.
Oh, boy.
Those kinds of people as well, right?
Yeah,
People that really represent sort of like the lifeblood of what makes San Francisco what it is in its current iteration, but have ties to these deeper roots that it has.
Okay.
Like people who, and people like you, and we were both so, and I was just talking to her about this, and we started to get the ball rolling, and then the pandemic happened, and the lockdown happened, and and in some ways life happened, and it sort of took it off the table for a long time. It became sort of impossible to talk about it because the world was upside down, and my life was upside down in all kinds of ways, and the way that the idea of returning to it and reconsidering it really began with meeting you.
Really? And enjoying our time with you so much and being so fascinated by what we talked about. And like when we'd see you, like if one of us wasn't there, we'd oh man, like what you guys talk about, we want to hear all the details. And I'd write some stuff down and just because I want to remember it, because it's so interesting and meaningful, and not the kinds of things that I hear from most people that I know.
Sure.
And so we were like, I wish we could just like tape record all of our conversations with Alex.
That's right.
Yeah. This is a very clever expose of what happened and how you guys got started. Because I didn't know that really, and it just seemed like a spontaneous idea to get together and talk about my life as a creative artist.
It's really how we met.
It's
the first conversation that we ever had was about that.
About Elizabeth's painting.
Well, no, it was when Jas was working at that pop-up art gallery.
Okay.
And it was like.
Where was that, by the way?
Is it that bank that you talked about?
The old Citibank.
Bank of America.
Oh,
Citibank.
I thought it was the one that is father's branch.
That's the Bank of America that's across the street.
Yes.
Well, so then just stone's throw.
Yeah.
But so
catty corner.
it was like the end of the they were
Yes.
shutting down, and I was walking around as he was closing the blinds, and he was talking about stuff he watches on YouTube, and that he wanted to start the podcast talking to artists.
Okay.
And I was so interested because for a former job I used to conduct interviews, and I really like doing that, and also I want to talk to artists and do art stuff.
Okay.
So
Well,
I asked if I could potentially assist, or if he might be interested in assistance with the podcast before even. That's.
Well, this is
from
all
the very beginning.
very enlightening.
That's how I met Elizabeth. Was pitching her this idea basically, and just thinking out loud about it.
So,
Which is kind
and
of
I
mind-blowing.
certainly came by at the right time. Of course, there are no accidents in my
Yeah.
world. So this is just fulfillment of the grand plans that someone
I very much feel that way.
above or below has for us. So without further ado, we have work to do.
we do have work to do.
We do, and it's been such a joy.
Yeah. And I want to reiterate that the joy part of it. To look forward to each week. What are we going to discuss this week? In my case, finding show and tell from the archives and the catacombs. Thinking about gift giving. All these dimensions.
And I also wanted to thank you earlier. I'm glad this came back around for inviting me to join the women's conversation group on Zoom. The Next Village, becoming involved in some of their
and of course
activities.
that led you to Donna and other, the
and
Italian
it's really
class.
meant so much to me. And I'm so grateful for it.
Good. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. And meeting Julia and Ariana it's better.
Yeah.
These are my cousins.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to. I'll have
Yeah,
to
you
figure out
got to
a way
bring me into the fold somehow.
Yeah, I will.